reaction to a weird night, fire alarms, PA systems were down. What was going on there as well, brother? Great to see you. You're muted.
Hold on. Can you hear my mic okay or no?
You're all good. Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, I don't know if I got a new cord for this too, so I'm not sure if you're hearing me from this or this. Whatever.
You're good. You're
okay.
Good.
One of them is working, so that's good. It was crazy, man. I actually was getting video because they had this really, shall we say, photogenic looking violinist playing. Tall blonde, Serafina. So she's doing her act.
I don't get it, Ryan. What are you trying to say? I don't understand.
So she's doing her act. She's doing her segment. And all of a sudden, during her performance, you hear this, and that's the fire alarm goes off. If you go to my Instagram, by the way, I got a reel of it. I actually was recording the reel, so you get to see the whole thing.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Ryan, but for the folks at home, tonight was a celebration of what, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, it's Women's Empowerment Day, I believe. And so the Warriors broadcast team was taken over with female broadcasters, and I'm not saying there's a correlation here, but I was frustrated because they decided that entire time period where these fire alarms are going off, like fans are starting to like leave the arena, supposedly.
Right.
Nobody who's watching the broadcast had any clue because all they were doing on the broadcast was showing the two broadcasters with a third guest, some representative from Rakuten, and we had no idea what was going on with the game. We had no idea what was going on with the fire alarms. They spent like 15 minutes just talking about Rakuten while all this was going on. So that was absurd. Well, I'm done ranting about that.
I will say this. That didn't affect the radio broadcast. Tim Roy and Tom Tolbert were right on it. So there you go. That's good. The Warriors, the women's empowerment did not include the radio broadcast this year. It did last year, but not this year.
That's it. Oh, last year it did affect it. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, anyway, so what was that fire alarm thing? So was it did they ever explain what happened? I've never.
No, they never explained it. But what's interesting is not only did the fire alarm go off, but when it was over, the PA system was dead too. So for about 3 minutes, you got real old school basketball. You had no PA announcements. You had no music. You had nothing. You heard players actually making noise on the court. You could hear sneakers squeaking.
Greg Gordon is asking, was the violinist in a bikini?
No, she was in a.
So what was the attire? I am curious.
A little short black skirt, silver boots, and a Steph Curry jersey.
All right,
and it's on my Instagram. I could put a link up, so it's on my Instagram.
Please do. I don't think anyone's going to complain if you did that. So
all right, let me go find it real quick here. You can talk away here, and I'll find it for everybody. So yeah, we'll get it on.
By the way, I did see in the chat that someone posted something racist. It wasn't like egregious, but it was still racist. You're in timeout for the night. Just keep things ethical and professional in the chat, please. All right, like don't add the hate speech. Let's keep things cool, please. Anyways, and we got a name. Rafael Luna added that the violinist's name was Serafina Violin. Wait, that can't be right.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Yes, Serafina Violin. Yep.
Her last name is Violin, and she plays the violin.
Well, I don't know if that's her name, but that's what she goes by.
Okay, so it's like her handle. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it now.
Let me go find. Hold on. Let me go back to the chat here and let's post it here and let's see if this works. Okay, there you go. So I just put it on the on the comments, and I'll put it in the private chat too.
All right.
And we'll
see there we go. There's a link. There. Oh, right there. So here I'll display it real fast.
Okay.
Thank you.
It works. There you go.
Chat. Thank you for putting the private chat. All right. So this was the violinist. I'm going to share my screen now. This was the violinist. Courtesy of Brian Leong. Is this your Instagram account, or is this your Barry?
The Barry Sports Rap, which is me and a few other guys run it. So yeah.
How can people follow Barry Sports Rap? Is it just at Barry Sports Rap?
That's it.
All right, good stuff. I can't maximize the screen, unfortunately.
Yes. I don't know if you could like scroll through it, but if you go towards the end, you'll see the whole like the fire alarm goes off.
So. I can't skip it. All we do is just
anyway, but if you would watch along with it goes into her routine, and it does show the the unfortunate fire alarm. So it goes on for a little bit. I don't think it's super long.
Good job for Zoom. podcast audience, violin is very colorful. It's like a rainbow-colored violin. It's
All right, so Ober's saying let it play. So this is cool. All right, let it go. Coming up any moment now. He's pretty. Yeah, see? Adrian Gutierrez. See, that's like, why are we watching this? Well, MJ, you'll find out in a minute.
will the fire alarm come at some point, Ryan?
It's coming. It's coming. You take this. It's coming. It just happens during their performance. Hang on. There you go.
Oh, no. Whoa, seriously?
Wow. You can hear that, huh? That's pretty loud.
Attention, please. There has been a fire alarm reported in the building. There has been a fire alarm reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairway and exit the building. Do not use the elevator, but proceed to the stairway and exit the building.
Guess this is for real.
Here?
Yeah.
All right. And you can hear the fire alarms in the broadcast. That's the only
Okay.
reason why people were even aware that
Right.
something was going on. But the
I
broadcast
should have panned a little bit to the audience, but you get the idea. But that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
You got a
exactly,
first-hand- You got a
exactly.
first-hand view of what happened.
All right, no, Ryan, as weird as this may sound, that was awesome. Like you in that brief 1-minute clip, we got exactly the feeling of what went down, and so fans were actually leaving, and then they were told to come back.
Yeah, and then they came back. So I should, like I said, that's the one thing I didn't do was I probably should have panned and gotten some video of the fans leaving. But then they came back about maybe 5 minutes later. But the weird thing, like I said, was like no PA, no music. I mean, it was like I said, like watching old school basketball for the first time in a long time. And Tolbert and said on the broadcast, which was great. He goes, "Can we please just get rid of music forever?" So yeah.
Well, on TV, it was hard to capture the difference, but I did see on social media quite a few people talking about that, how there was a reason why music is played during these games, and that. But so let me ask you this: did you like the silence? Was it better?
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, I've covered the NBA now since the 1999 season, and I've just seen it get progressively louder and louder because they used to only do it on offense, as I recall, and then defense there was no music. Now they do it on both. Offense and defense.
Correct. And I know Steve Kerr, I think, what is it, a year or two ago, he complained about the volume of the music, and I don't know if the amount of it was an issue for him as well, but this was in Phoenix, remember? And then the Phoenix DJ, it became a whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, so and Adrian Gutierrez saying you're an OG, Ryan, so bravo. Ryan, do you mind if we bring an audience member onto the show?
Yeah, bring him on.
Peter, I appreciate your patience. You're now on the show.
Hey, how's it going? Man, that Pistons team, it looked pretty good, huh?
Yeah, they look pretty good.
Right,
Yeah, you're right. Where
I
are
was
you
very
at, Peter?
surprised.
What's behind you?
I'm in Vegas.
Oh, nice. He's in Vegas.
Visiting or is that home?
Yeah, I live here. I'm from the Bay, though. I grew up in the Bay Area.
I don't think
Warriors fan since 1990.
Oh, there you go.
Peter, I've lost all of my childhood friends, almost all of them. Nobody I grew up with is still in the Bay Area. Like 95% of the folks I knew are gone. For I'm guessing the same reason you're in Vegas, man. It's ridiculously expensive here. You could probably buy a home in Vegas for what for the same price that when you were a kid that house cost in San Leandro, California. But now San Leandro, like everywhere, is insanely expensive. So you're in Vegas. It's okay, bro. I just don't want you to feel bad because some people have like guilt for leaving the Bay. Some people aren't happy.
What are you still there for, Cyrus? Why are you still there?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Why are you still there?
Well, I wasn't for a long time. I was in Encinitas for 4 years. I lived in Texas for 2 years.
I did too. I was just teasing about that.
In Wyoming for a year. I've been all over, dude. But I came back because for a couple of reasons. My family's still there here. That's a huge part of it. It's not easy. I'll tell you that, dude. And I live 2 hours away from San Francisco, so it's not like I'm really here. It's like I'm sort of here, but I have to live in the woods in the middle of nowhere. So that's how it goes, man. But Peter, we're not here to complain about housing prices in San Francisco and the Bay Area. We're here to talk about the Warriors. What's on your mind, dude?
I wanted to say something about Draymond Green. I'll tell you this. I go in the comments of his podcast and I try to tell him, dude, you've been shooting 40% from three. At the end of these games, you're wide open and you're just turning them down. Stop doing that. And the last couple of games, I've noticed him start to be like way more aggressive offensively late in the game. And then when he took this three with like 30 seconds left, he didn't even hesitate. He just put that up and knocked it down. I was really impressed by that. And I thought that that's like a really good sign overall for the Warriors because they need him to be aggressive offensively.
Ryan, what was the reaction like in the arena, dude, when Dre hit that three? Because was this the loudest game of the year in general, Ryan? What was your reaction when Dre hit that three in the crowd in general?
Oh, it was like, I mean, it got loud, but it was almost like a stunned loud. Like, wow, who made the Draymond made the shot? You know what I mean? It's like, you're almost like shocked. You're like, you don't expect him to take shots in general, like Peter said, let alone a three, right? I mean, this guy does not have a great shooting percentage for threes, but when he does make them, you know, they count. So it was impressive to see that.
Yeah.
I think he's been shooting pretty good from three. The last 2 seasons, he's been near 40%. So I feel like he should be taking them. Like, that's how you win games is you get 40% three-point shooters taking wide open threes over and over and over, right?
Well, Draymond himself, like, I don't know if you guys remember this. Early in his career with the Warriors, he actually was efficient offensively, and he actually was putting up points. On my Threads account, I posted this clip the other day of Stephen Curry early in his Warriors career. This is one of the first games when he played against Monte Ellis following the trade, and would won the game for them. I think Monte Ellis was on the Mavericks at this point, was a Draymond Green three-pointer. And Draymond, I don't know if you folks remember, he was pudgy early in his career. And part of the reason why he progressed as a player is he learned, I got to get in shape, man. Like, succeeding in the NBA is way different than college, and you got to be at the pinnacle, at the peak of your powers. But Draymond used to be like a good offensive player. He admitted in interviews that part of the regression came when Kevin Durant was acquired because he knew that that's not what they needed him for. And so he kind of shifted his focus in terms of his role offensively. And in the last few years, you're also seeing, again, with the three-point shooting, as you mentioned, Peter, this turnaround in his game where he's starting to get better offensively. When he played in college, he was not a bad player at Michigan State offensively. The dude was putting up points, but it's so good to see like him being aggressive again offensively, not just with the threes. He's attacking the paint. He's finding lanes that are wide open because of all the other options this team has for easy buckets. Dude, Draymond has been huge for this squad offensively, and I'm glad you pointed that out, man, because that three, as weird as this sounds, maybe it doesn't sound weird, but it felt weird thinking this. Draymond Green in Game 7 of Warriors-Cavaliers 2016. I'm sorry to go back to that moment because it hurt. It hurts. I'm sure it does if you're thinking about it. But Draymond in that game, didn't he put up like 37 points and had like...
I mean, at 29?
Yeah, it was some absurd stat line. I think he was like 1 assist shy of a triple-double. And he has that in him. And he's one of these guys, and I'm not breaking news saying this, that when the pressure's on, that's when he thrives the most, man. That is why this team needs him to win championships. He's best. He's at his best when the pressure is strong, dude. I love the guy. I know a lot of fans have soured on him in recent years. I still love him on the Warriors, man. I would argue against anybody trying to say they need to trade him. But I was the one who sent the super chat about Santos being contributing more to winning than Kuminga. And I'm not saying that Kuminga. Oh, that's you. Okay. Is a better individual one-on-one player. If we were going to bet who's going to win a one-on-one contest, I bet Kuminga. But in the 5-on-5, I would say that Santos, the way that he gets in there and he has a big effect on possessions. I would say that it's more important than the points that Kuminga gets, because I feel like those can be generated in other ways.
I'm sorry. Is your name really, is that really your full name? Peter Jennings, like the ABC guy?
Yeah, but he's been dead for like a long time now.
I know, but still, Peter Jennings. Hey, that's a cool name, man.
You have the same nickname as the legendary former ABC anchor Peter Jennings.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, that's my name. That's my birth name.
Nice.
That's cool. Did your parents did they put thought into that? Like, was Peter Jennings an inspiration?
No. It was my grandfather's name was Payne,
okay,
and his nickname was Pete, so they called me Peter.
Peter, I have no clue how old you are, but for the older audience, Peter Jennings was a legendary broadcaster. Like he was almost like a Walter Cronkite successor type level of
Absolutely. I think so.
He was
prestige.
Canadian, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he was
who
a
knows?
great broadcaster, though. I mean, he was the man. I'll tell you this much real quick before we get back to basketball. He's way better than David Muir, who's the current ABC anchor.
But Peter Jennings, and side note, RIP, he died of lung cancer. The dude was a chain smoker, and he was also an example of why you shouldn't smoke. But going back to the Warriors here, so Peter, so are you in the camp that you want Kuminga traded, or is this more you just really loving Gui Santos, like or both?
I think that the Warriors could probably get more from trading Kuminga for multiple first-round picks. Okay, here's the thing, though. Lacob has recently come out and said that he's willing to go way deep into luxury tax to pay Kuminga. So, okay, if you're willing to do that, all right. If you're not willing to do that, I say absolutely, yeah, we should be trading him for like multiple firsts. But yes, like Kuminga, he does all sorts of good things on the floor, most specifically scoring. Though a lot of it, I feel like it's kind of like the Corey Maggette type scoring that we're getting from him. That's just kind of my opinion. I feel like we don't get a whole lot more else.
Well, again, my whole thing with Kuminga, and I know I sound like a broken record because I talk about this guy more than probably anybody, but my entire thing with Kuminga has always been the potential is so high. And there's a reason why at one point in one of the deepest drafts in NBA history, the same draft that Cade Cunningham, who we watched tonight, was the number one pickup. There was conversations about Kuminga being the top pick in that same draft. He fell to number 7. He was not on the Warriors' radar until he fell inexplicably. And then when the Warriors had that 7th pick, they realized he's available and they'd be idiots to pass up on him. With that said, a player of his potential, of his talent, of his promise, it's egregious to not he's now in year 4 and we have yet to see him get real minutes. So when I say real minutes, I mean 30 or more. So I'm not sitting here pretending like I know what we're going to get ultimately from Jonathan Kuminga. I have no clue, man. He might end up being an injury-prone individual, and that's going to suck. I really hope that's not the case, and this is just an anomaly. My point is, though, for a player of his potential, you have to give him an extended run before any of us can judge what we're going to see. The great news from my perspective is we finally got a month-long sample size in December. I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. And in that 14-game stretch where he finally averaged over 30 minutes a game, he was giving you 21 points, 6.3 rebounds, over 35% shooting from 3, I think 45% field goal percentage overall. He finally was delivering, and then he gets hurt, which sucks. I'm very curious to see what happens when he comes back, but I'm confident he's going to deliver. I also think it shouldn't be an either-or scenario with Kuminga and Santos. Play them both, man. Gui Santos played the point growing up in Brazil, so if ball handling is your concern, let him bring the ball up, man. Let him be a facilitator. He can do that. The idea of a lineup.
Cyrus, let me respond. You have so many points. Let me respond to these and then let you go. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Oh man, I had so many ideas rolling through my head. All right.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Shit. Okay. All right. So, all right. You were talking about Cade at 22, and then I would also throw in Edwards at 22. We're both being much more significant contributors towards winnings for their team at
Getting
that age.
30 minutes. They got way more minutes.
I completely agree. Kuminga has been screwed over multiple times by Kerr and the coaching staff. I don't agree at all with the way that they've gone about like establishing his career. I think that like he definitely hasn't been given enough of a chance. But from what he's done, I don't see this like Ant Edwards level trajectory or even this Cade Cunningham level trajectory with what he's been doing. I had more to think that let me let you go and then give me a chance to respond.
Yeah, that's fine. And again, all I'll say, I'm not sitting here saying that Jonathan Kuminga is going to be at the same level as Anthony Edwards or Cade Cunningham. They're very different players. They play different positions, and the expectations are going to be different for each of these individuals. Cade Cunningham's a point guard. Anthony Edwards is a very traditional 2 guard. Jonathan Kuminga is a traditional 3, who in Kuminga's system is a 4. So they play very different positions. They have very different roles. So I don't know if it's. I personally don't look at Kuminga as in comparison to those types of players. And the minutes thing is important because I'm looking at Cade Cunningham, for example, his minutes, right? And this is where, again, I don't want to judge Kuminga until we get a good sample size with a good chunk of minutes. And then, look, when we see him play consistently over a long stretch, then give me your judgments, give me your analysis. But until then, everybody's opinion on Kuminga is based on these very short spurts. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think he's going to be a super great player all day. I have my opinions on it, but there's no way I know for certain. But Cade Cunningham, for example, his rookie year, he averaged, and I know he's been injury prone throughout a big portion of his career, but his rookie year, he played 64 games. He averaged 32.6 minutes per game. He put up 17.4 points per game. He only shot 31.4% from three. Point is, he was putting rookie numbers. That's what rookies do. They struggle, but they need time to develop. His second year, he only played 12 games that season because of injury, but in those 12 games, he still averaged 33.3 minutes per game. Third season, where we finally started to see some potential from this guy, 33.5 minutes per game. And this year, where he's now an all-star, 35.2. You look at any player, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Franz Wagner, any one of these players that you want to compare Kuminga to, and every single one of these guys, their rookie year on, they were playing over 30 minutes a game. Kuminga is the one exception to that. So all I've been saying from the get-go is I just want to see him play. I just want to see him get a good run, and then let's analyze him. Let's judge him at that point. Right. You might be right, Peter. You might be. I'm not sitting here saying that you're wrong. I can't sit here and say empirically you're wrong. I can't, because none of us have seen Kuminga play. But we finally got a month-long sample size in December. He looked damn good, and I'm so excited to see what comes beyond that. Am I making sense? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just real concerned that when Kuminga comes back, he's going to be taking Santos's minutes. So when you're saying it's not a one-to-one thing, I'm like, it kind of is a one-to-one thing. And if I'm right and Santos does contribute more to winning than Kuminga, then the team's going to be worse, right? But I think
if Kuminga's getting stealing minutes from Guy, yeah. I will say this though, the more we watch Guy Santos play, the more I'm feeling like when we're talking about the best five-man lineup for this Warriors team, Steph, Dre, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Guy Santos. You're not small. I don't see a single weakness. Sign me up for that. What do you guys think?
That's an interesting lineup. I would like to see it. The only thing that I've been trying to argue is like the way that Kuminga plays, it's mostly just individual one-on-one scoring, which is great. Like, yeah, I don't want to turn that down, but we have that from Butler and Curry. It's not that we couldn't use more of it, but exactly. We need more of that individual one-on-one scoring, or do we need more of this type of thing that Santos brings, which is this like hustle player that dives on every loose ball, that fights for all these rebounds, gets all these offensive rebounds, and then kicks open to wide open shooters, and guy who is just mucking it up in there and getting us more and more possessions. So which one do you value more? It depends on your lineup, I guess. Who's out there?
You could have both. Like, to me, a redundancy in players is having two Andre Drummonds, right? That's a blatant redundancy. Or having two Dennis Schroeders. I don't see the problem in having Kuminga and Santos, right? To me, there's no, like, you're not having too much of one thing, having them out there. Ryan, you've been quiet this whole time. What are your thoughts on this, man? Like, do you think? Yeah, give me your opinion on all this. We've covered a lot of topics.
I mean, well, first of all, are you guys talking about Kuminga? But Kuminga's still hurt, right? Has he even played at all yet, or he's still in
there?
Stuff,
you
right?
tell us.
Yeah, no, he's still out. But I'm saying, is he listed as being back yet? Isn't he basically? I mean,
my understanding is it's a day-by-day thing. That there's no set date now, and it's all about conditioning, comfort. Celebrini hasn't given the green light yet. That's right. What I'm understanding from all the information that's out there. Right. What do you think?
No, yeah, that's what I see. And he was listed as an active. So I think he needs more time to get well or whatever. I mean, you saw how physical tonight's game was. I don't think that's a game you'd want him out there on the floor. So
well, if he's hurt, if he's healthy, you absolutely do want him on a game like this.
But he's still dealing with the right ankle sprain. So You know, those things are tricky. So I think right now you still wait until maybe they play a much lower level opponent, but we don't, I don't know who that's going to be coming up. Well, they're playing.
Peter, any final thoughts from you before we move on?
I said it all. You can let me go. Have a good one.
Come back, all right? Please do, man. Have a great Saturday night in Vegas, brother. Thank you. I appreciate everybody who comes on, man. So thank you, Peter, brother. And have yourself a great night. That was Peter from Vegas. And again, interesting take in regards to Gooey Santos. Like Gooey is literally giving such a positive impression on fans that you're now literally hearing people say, I want him over Kuminga. Is that accurate? Who knows? But look, man.
Well, for now, Gooey he's doing the job.
What do you see from Gooey, man? You're around this team, Ryan. You're the insider on this program.
He showed a lot.
What are you seeing from this Warriors team in regards to Gooey Santos's influence?
Well, he had a great game tonight for sure. He hustled. There was at one play where I think he had the ball at the top of the key and he basically ran it all the way in for a layup. That shows his aggressiveness. I think he's doing what you should do when you have guys missing. You step up, right? He's stepping up. He knows that there's a roster spot that needs to be filled. He's filling the spot right now. So is Quentin Post. Those guys are doing what they can to make up for the absence of JK.
Well, you wrote in that you sent me a message. Is Draymond still on the court behind you, or did he leave?
Will be. No, he will be.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, folks, just in case you're a relatively new audience member, Ryan Leong, and you can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Leong. He's with NBC News Radio. He's with Bay Area Sports Wrap. That scene behind him is not a blue screen. It's not a digital screen. That is Chase Center. The beauty of one of the finest arenas in the NBA is directly behind Ryan Leong, and he joins us after every home game. Even tonight when there's fire alarms going off, and that was crazy, dude.
That was crazy.
Were you panicked at all when that was going down? Or
no, I didn't. That's the only thing I forgot to do. Yeah, I just basically killed at that point, and then some people started walking out. But then it was basically we all found out very quickly, as I mentioned, that it was a false alarm. So,
in your opinion, Ryan, who will lose minutes when Kuminga comes back? Because I do hope that Gooey Santos is not the sacrificial lamb in these rotation decisions. Like Buddy Hield got 19 minutes and 1 second tonight. Yeah. If you gave all 19 minutes to Kuminga and came up with 10 minutes from elsewhere, I'd be happy, dude. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen here. What do you predict?
I hate to tell you this. I don't know. It could be Moody again. Moody could be the guy that suffers. I hope not, but
that can't be, man. I hope not.
I don't know though. I'm just saying, it could happen.
The Warriors, I can't remember which one it is. Either they're now 14-1 or 15-1 when Moses Moody starts. The only loss was that Sixers game.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I don't know how he could be the guy, but you might be right, dude. I hope that's not the case.
Well, as we both talked about, Kerr just has a strange way of inserting who he wants into the lineup, right?
He's also changed his tune a little bit, though. I'm certainly seeing the Kerr that was universally accepted before 2023. He's going back to being focused on the right decisions. At least that's what I'm seeing. He's earning a little faith for me again. I hope that faith is not.
This is a different sport, but I'll just mention real quickly. And you never know what happens with coaches and players. But that women's soccer team, Bay FC, they have this huge investigation going on because supposedly the head coach had a toxic environment going on there, and half the roster is different from last year. And they haven't started the season yet. And he seemed like a really chill guy when we talked to him in post-match pressers, right? Because I covered a few of their games too. And you just never know, man. That just shows to me that no matter how much we see as media members, there's still a lot of things we don't see.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. So. That's a great point. The great Rich Mitch in the chat dropping $1.99 saying, give me some love. Thank you for that. But then immediately following that says trade Mediocre, and then another $1.99 trade Mediocre ASAP and make the team better, and then another $1.99 using a different handle, Mac Life CEO, trade Mediocre ASAP if you're serious about it. To which I will respond 3 times for 3 posts. You can't trade a player right now. Second time, the trade deadline passed. You cannot trade Jonathan Kuminga. Third time, it is a moot point. You're wasting money. Thank you, though. But you cannot trade players at this time. Save the rhetoric for after the season when it is relevant and matters. So, and there's a fourth one, another $1.99. Trade Mediocre ASAP if you're serious about a championship.
I know what they should do. I think you should keep talking about him since he keeps giving you money. Right? I mean, he is.
This guy's been on a roll for the last few nights now. He just comes in the chat. He just clearly does not like Jonathan Kuminga. Unfortunately, I think he was posting some racist stuff tonight, so he got put in timeout, and he will be banned permanently if he continues doing that. No racism, please. Okay, let's keep the chat clean from hate speech like that. Another comment that was paid. This one is $4.99 from a handle I cannot even pretend to pronunciate. Ryan, good luck with that.
If you can. It sounds like if it's just right. If you can pull it, push it along.
Oh, there actually was a message there.
Yeah.
Good eye. Okay. If you can pull it, push it along. Dropping $4.99. Thank you, Ryan, for the second set of eyes there. Writing, good win, boys. Curry, the best player ever to touch a basketball. Ryan, there's been some chatter lately. Shaquille O'Neal, I think, was at the forefront of this. Thank you to the big Aristotle for saying that Stephen Curry should be in the GOAT conversation. In other words, every time people are debating who the greatest all-time player is, at least mention his name. Thank you, Shaquille O'Neal, for that.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, nobody's going to question that he's the greatest shooter of all time. I don't know if he can still be the greatest player. I mean, I know it was a different game back then, but look at Will Chamberlain's numbers, man. As Tim Roy mentioned, who's behind me, by the way, he's emceeing this Draymond
Please
Green
tell him I say hello, man. I like Tim.
Yes, probably not tonight, but I'll let him know you said hi.
Yeah, please say hi. Yeah, he'll be back on the show at some point. It's long overdue. Go ahead. Sorry.
He made a great point though during Andre Iguodala's pregame medallion unveiling at Chase Center. You know what he said? He said until Steph Curry came along, he didn't have to look at the Warriors stat records because you knew it was always Wilt Chamberlain, which is true. That goes to show you how much things have changed now because Steph is now the one who's leading the conversation on most of the stats. By the way, Draymond's talking now.
Oh, nice. And by the way, MJ in the chat, dropping the elevation sensation. Tim Roy has a few incredible signature lines.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, can we see Dre or is it too small? Too small,
but he's over.
Right,
he's over there. Wait, let me see my finger. See my finger? It's like right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there's Draymond Green. And now, does that mean I can technically claim that Draymond Green has been on this show?
I guess you could say that indirectly, yeah. But, hey.
A former, guest would not be the right word, but a former appearance by Draymond Green. Gary Garcia Alquiez dropping, I don't know I have no clue what DOP currency is. Would you have even a guess on that, Ryan?
We'll look it up later.
But Gary, and again, if you drop money, I will read it. I try not to get into these behind the scenes, tit for tats. I've said my piece, but you paid money, so I'm going to read this. Saying, Kylan Miles. Side note: Bob Fitzgerald did pronounce her name that way the other night. Thank you, Bob. Saying Kylan Miles. Her commentary is bland. Locked On sucks. Charlie, who's her husband, who replaced me on the show, and Kylan should open their own channel and let them fail. Unsubscribe. I do want to say this. One of the reasons why I started coming to the realization that I need to get the hell out of there and just start my own thing is, and again, this is no secret for folks who were watching the show when I was hosting it. Mm-hmm. Kylan, I brought her in, me, not the network. Right. I brought her in and got rewarded for that with a complete stabbing in the back. But what are you going to do? And this is life. Yep. She stopped showing up on a regular basis. That's when I started to take some issues. We were splitting the revenue. She stopped showing up for work, and the network kept paying her a portion of the revenue split that we share. Like they weren't paying Kylan out of their own pockets. They were paying her out of my pocket. So that's when I started to take some issue with this. I'm like, how is it fair that someone who's not showing up to work is getting a percentage of the revenue split? This is not right. And they did not agree with me. And this was literally on the show. You could watch this. And this was when I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I had to miss 4 shows because I was dealing with this massive storm that hit a year ago. I didn't have power for almost a week. It was literally my region of California was declared a natural disaster area. And so I had no power. I finally get power again. Kylan is on the show with me. And I ask her, I'm like, Kylan, I didn't watch the Brooklyn Nets game. Can you provide a recap for that? Her reaction is, I didn't watch it either. I'm like, wait, what? You didn't? Like, why? I just didn't have time for it. And then she reveals to me behind the scenes, hey, her and Charlie don't even live in the Bay Area, right? So they're the Warriors hosts living in like Ohio or wherever the hell they are, near Cincinnati. I think that's where they are, maybe Chicago. Right. And Kylan's response is, oh, you don't need to watch all the games to give expert analysis. Are you shitting me? You have to watch every second of this stuff, man. You have to study this like it's a research article. She does not watch the games. So and that was on the show. You could literally go through Locked On's old shows and find that episode where she admitted publicly she doesn't even watch all the games. When she said that and she was no-showing, I went to the inept management of that network and said, this is not working. I do not want my money going to a partner who's not carrying her fair share. And they said, tough shit. We'll make some adjustments. And I said, tough shit. I'm going to go start my own show. And that's the story there. So I'm done talking about it. But Gary Garcia Alquiquez, however you pronounce the last name, thank you for the post. And I'm sorry for taking up a few minutes to talk about that. But anyways, I digress.
Well, I'll say this. I don't watch every second of every Warriors game either, but I do, at least for the home games. And I'm here.
Exactly.
So, and I am here.
But for the folks who are here now, we're about to hit 4,000 subs. Thank you. I from the bottom of my effing heart, man, thank you so much for coming over. And I know some people stayed, and that's fine. Everyone has their prerogative, but that's the story of when went down. And the topic came up tonight because it's Warriors empowerment night with the Warriors. And my former co-host, who is involved in all this because of me, is now like one of the personalities on NBC Sports Bay Area. So even though she doesn't live here, she barely covers the team. She's being honored as one of the 6 members. That is ridiculous. But sorry for Ryan for involving you in that little rant. I'm done. I digress. Going back to the Warriors.
Like I said, at least look at the bright side. When you say we have coverage here, we got coverage here.
Yeah.
Live.
And that I can promise everyone that whatever you get from this show is gonna be accurate, or at least as accurate as it could be. Every single take you see out there, like if I read something that might seem original to someone else, like that Jim Park guy, for example, on Twitter, who's made a name for himself because he was bashing Steve Kerr this year. Thanks for stealing my act that I started 2 years ago. Everything that's out there that people bring up, you're gonna hear it or see it on this show first. Some there are takes out there that I've said on this show that suddenly a month later someone else says, but because they might have more followers, it picks up more steam. You're gonna get awesome takes here. I promise you that. You're gonna get accurate analysis. I think Sophia Jones is brilliant. She joins the show every Monday. Rick Barry's a regular guest. The dude's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest Warriors ever. Ryan Leong, who's been in this industry for almost 30 years. Maybe it's been 30 years.
No, not that long. Not yet.
But you're approaching the 30. But
25.
What was your you were in the Detroit locker room after tonight's game, correct?
I did. I just went to the interview room. So we just talked to the coach and Malik Beasley. I'm surprised nobody asked Beasley though about him rushing his three, because he rushed the 3-pointer that he took. The last
he did a shimmy. Did you see him do the shimmy?
No, I missed that. That was
one of his late threes. He ended up doing a shimmy right in front of Steph. Man, I was a little surprised.
Was that the one that started the little fight or whatever? There was a little skirmish that turned to that.
That was different. That was totally different. Yeah, this was a testy game, dude.
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder was back in town, and I'm a little surprised that the Miami Heat did not keep him in that trade. Like that was a little surprising to me, because he's playing some good minutes for Detroit. I'm very happy the Warriors have moved on. That just was not the right fit, clearly. But Dennis Schroeder, in his homecoming game, after a brief stint with the Golden State Warriors, did put up 11 points, added 4 assists, had 2 steals. He can be a pest, and he was making some big shots tonight. What did you see in terms of Dennis Schroeder?
Well, I saw a lot of missed shots. I saw a lot of the same Dennis Schroeder that we saw with the Warriors. The only difference now is he's back to wearing number 17. Well, maybe it was I saw a couple of his missed threes. He was 5 of 8 shooting overall, which is good, but 0 of 2 from distance. So and again, another -7 for Schroeder. So he's consistent, man. He consistently gives you a minus when he's out there in his net rating.
I want to give a Taryn Ward in the chat real fast their due, because Taryn is claiming that I don't know. Is Taryn a masculine name? I can't tell if that's a gender specific name, so it could be a guy or a girl. But Taryn is claiming that. Say again.
I'm guessing it's a guy's name.
That's what I would guess too, but it's hard. But I can't say for certain, so I'll just say their takes get stolen every day. But Taryn is claiming that their takes are original. Taryn, do me a favor. Follow up this post, please, with your social media handle, because if what you're saying is true, I want people to follow you. I want to follow you. If you're getting great takes, help me out, brother. I want to see what you're writing. So provide that, please. And then Gary Garcia Alcaquez is saying Golden Days is international. You got that right, man, and I'm proud of that. We appeal to the global audience for sure. 4,000 subs organically. Dude. I never know how to react to these kind of things, but you're being awesome. Thank you. Just giving some love on the show. Ryan, is there anything else you feel like we've missed before we go to the scoreboard and see what happened in the rest of the NBA?
Not really. I think this was a game tonight, though, where the Sharks should feel lucky. I mean, Sharks. I was watching a Sharks highlight real quick here. The Warriors should feel lucky because Steph Curry, at least when he got to the line tonight, he made all 12 of his free throws. That's clutch. That is huge. I mean, he doesn't. When's the last time you saw a stat line where Curry has double-digit free throws?
Well, just the other day, but you're right. It's rare.
No, it doesn't happen very often. He's not Michael Jordan.
It doesn't happen very often. You're right.
Michael Jordan got fouled all the time, and he made half of his points. You know, people forget this. When you look at Michael Jordan's stats, look up a lot of his individual games. He scored at least 10 of his points from the free throw line every game.
Yeah.
Curry doesn't do that. Curry scores almost all of his points from 3 and occasionally from 2 and almost never from the free throw line. So that's a big one. That's a big takeaway from me.
And real fast, by the way, Raul Perez in the chat, and I think Julian Bashir is adding this similar sentiment that we need to have some more short content. I agree, man. Look, the good news about this program, I hope it's good news, is we're not going anywhere. This is, again, my plan is when I turn 65, I'm retiring, dude. Like Ryan, some people in this world feel like they have to work until the day they die just because they need that purpose. I'm not one of those people. When I turn 65, I'm going to retire. My plan is to just have dogs around me. You know, if I'm married, then I'll have a spouse. If not, just the dogs, you know, and that's going to be my family. I'm just going to chill. Some people don't know how to chill. I'm going to chill. I'm going to surf. I'm going to smoke a shitload of weed, and I'm going to watch a lot of movies and TV shows and play video games. And I'm going to retire at 65. But the good news is we're 20 years away from that. So for the next 20 years, we're not going anywhere. And I hope to grow this thing. I hope to turn this into like a profoundly influential, powerful show that actually makes an impact. I want to give back. Like I want to hopefully launch a platform. I thought I was going to start this by now, but Medium, unfortunately, wasn't the right home for it. But I want to start a platform where people can actually make money producing Warriors content themselves. There's a lot of plans in the works. One of those is the short aspects of it, because I know in YouTube, the shorts are really popular and shorter content is great. We're going to do that. That's part of the plan. It's a manpower thing. We just got some interns and they're going to help with that. So thank you for the suggestions, though. I do sincerely appreciate it. I'm always, I try to be an open recipient of constructive criticism. So I hope
when you retire, you can come to more games at that point.
As a fan, yeah, sure, why not? But we got 20 years until then.
I was a media member. That's what I do. Hey, man, I like having these credentials, man.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. But all I'm saying is, like, dude, if I have my 60s, I just want to chill. That's all I want to do. Cool Breeze, by the way, bringing up a great point. And I don't know if Ryan, you agree with this or not, but Stephen Curry is about to hit 4,000 3-pointers.
Yeah,
and I don't know if Cool Breeze is correct in saying that he's only 7 away. I need to look that up myself. But
yes, he's right. No, he's correct, because he needed 11 when the game started tonight. So he's 7 away.
So he's 7 away from 4,000. That is such a remarkable feat.
He's gonna do it on his homestand.
Yes. Obviously, and he also hit the 25,000 mark tonight. But in your opinion, Ryan, I feel like the national conversation has not focused much on Steph hitting 4,000 threes or approaching it. I don't know if it's because LeBron James hit 50,000 the other day and that took attention from it. Why do you think that the national media scene is not giving more attention, more praise to Steph for coming to close to 4,000?
I think there's still size, what do you call it? Discrimination in the NBA, right? Let me think about
the Under Armour discrimination.
No.
What it is?
Size, meaning like his height. right?
So you think because he's 6'3" and he's diminutive,
6'3",
relatively speaking.
He's not a dunker. He dunked in one game the first time in a long time, right? And he's not so because he's not a power forward or a center like LeBron, who's a power forward. I think a lot of times he gets overlooked.
But
Really
regardless,
I think he really does get overlooked a lot. He really does, and I think
agreed.
For all the greatness that he's done in the NBA, a lot of players are still like overshadowing him, which is unfortunate.
Peter Jennings dropping $2 saying, get Jim Park on the show again. A personality who is interesting guy on Twitter. And here's I've said this before and I'll say it again. I have nothing personal against Jim, but the dude's been stealing my shtick for years. And for whatever reason, and look, he's been relatively successful at it recently, and good for him. But I have been following him on Twitter for a long time. And there's a lot of stuff he says that makes no damn sense. So I guess if you want me to invite him on here so that I can expose him, which is probably what's going to happen, then okay. I mean, I don't want to do that. I have nothing against him personally, but at the same time, all I'm trying to say here is Jim Park is not exactly the analyst that is blowing me away. Like, I'm not seeing anything from that guy that makes me go, oh, really? That's an interesting take. Like, I'm not seeing any of that. And if you are, more power to you. He's not impressing me. He also is not shy about expressing a lot of political opinions, and some of those can be pretty offensive. So, but look, I'll reach out just for the sake of Peter Jennings. No relation to the anchor, Peter Jennings.
Right.
Excuse me. I'll reach out to him. I'll see if he wants to come on. But I'll tell you this, man. In terms of content, he does not impress. And he steals my shit. He's been stealing my shit for like years. Bay Area Chris dropping $1.99 saying, great show. Thank you for that. That you're our post-game go-to. That is what we try to do here. Ryan, anything else that we missed? What about, there is one thing I want to bring up real fast, and that is points in the paint. Because I know the Warriors got killed in that department tonight, and they did. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, they did.
And points in the paint.
Yeah, by 20, 56-36.
Thank you for that, Ryan. And tonight was an example of what a bigger team can still do in terms of causing problems for the Warriors. You saw Quentin Post get into foul trouble. You saw Gui Santos foul out of the game.
But the Warriors did out-rebound the Pistons, which is interesting.
That's the hustle part of it, right? I mean, that's crazy to me. But yeah, but the reason why I bring that up is, like, do you think that's going to be a concern when it comes time to the postseason? The Nuggets still scare me. We're getting close to that St. Patrick's Day game where the Warriors are going to host the Denver Nuggets. To me, that is the litmus test of this season. The Nuggets are a big team, bigger even than Detroit. What do you see happening with opponents like that? Because tonight was a little concerning in that department. Your thoughts?
No, you're right. I don't think they can beat. I mean, if they can beat Denver, then they've gotten somewhere. If they can't beat them, and that game's a huge game, as you mentioned, coming up, that's a litmus test. I mean, you said it. I couldn't agree more. And they need that. They need to beat that team to get to the next level.
Yeah, and tonight was an example where I feel like even with Gui Santos playing the way he did, tonight is a game where Jonathan Kuminga was needed and he was missed. I don't know if that points in the paint discrepancy would exist if Kuminga was playing tonight, but hopefully he'll be back soon. Yeah, aim assist, agree with you. Hopefully Kuminga will be healthy. Again, you haven't heard a thing, huh, in terms of when we can expect him?
Day, like you said. By the way, I probably have to skip out on the scoreboard tonight. So
are you really? You're going to leave me?
Yeah, you'll be all right. You can tell the scoreboard.
After everything we've been through, you're just going to bail on me, huh? All right.
I'm not gonna bail on you, but
let's see how it goes, Ryan.
I'll leave you to handle the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm kidding with you. Go, dude. You've been there all night, brother. Get out of here.
And I went to Fan Fest this afternoon too at the ballpark, so I've been down here for quite a while.
How was that?
Sorry, it was cool actually. You know, it was obviously free, no admission, and they gave out 10,000 bobbleheads of Brian Wilson, and so that brought a lot of people out to the ballpark today.
Esh in the chat is asking, is there any concern that Kuminga has a bigger issue? No. Not at all.
No, I don't think so either. But they're gonna save him for. I think they just want to give more time. And I think also they're gonna keep pushing him back as long as they can do it right now, where they're still winning games right now, and they are doing that. So
agreed. Wholeheartedly agree. And again, his ankle injury, even though it seems unusual how much time he's been missing, it's not in reality. Like, this is actually, for severe ankle sprains like his, this is actually very common. It's just rare. but it's when it happens at this severity, this is how it goes. Ryan, I don't know if you want me to ever share with any audience members, not on the show, but in case they DM me, because you were not lying when you said that you know where all the parking spaces are. You saved my ass for that.
Yeah, I'd rather keep that a secret.
All right, so even if people DM me, that's you want me to not reveal your
not reveal. No, because
the audience needs to
I
know.
find a place, and you find a place to park when we come here.
Fair point. Yeah, you know exactly what the city does have some gems. You just have to look for them. Exactly. Ryan Leong, again, you can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Leong. He produces great content for Bay Area Sports Rap, for NBC News Radio. He's routinely in the visitors' locker room after the game. He's interviewing Steve Kerr before the game, and he joins us live from Chase Center following every home game. And we'll definitely set up some appearances during the offseason because you shouldn't just be coming on for home games. We'll make some time in other situations. But love you, brother. Get some rest.
I'll see you on Monday with Sophia, right? We'll both
Sounds good. I'll see you Monday. Yes, exactly. For post.
Okay.
Sounds good, brother. All right, man. That's Ryan Leong. Thank you, as always, for the fantastic contributions as we start to wrap it up. And speaking of wrapping it up, let's go to the scoreboard. Let's see what else is going down in the NBA. And usually when we do that, we get the tunes. Well, I'm very, very excited to see what the hell is going on in the association. I hope all of you folks out there have fun tonight, whether you're staying at home, whether you go out, whether you're sitting on the toilet, whether you're reading a book, maybe you're cooking something. Maybe you're out on a date right now. Maybe your spouse has dragged you somewhere that's just lame. Maybe you're battling a cold, a flu, COVID. Maybe you're just going for a drive. Maybe you're in the ocean for a night swim. Maybe you're out hiking somewhere in a mountain or camping. Maybe you went to the movies. Maybe you're at a shopping mall, although they're probably closed this Sunday night. Whatever it is you're doing, it's Saturday, and I hope you're having the time of your life. I hope your night's better because the Warriors won. F yeah. Let's check out the scores. Or maybe. Where's Chardol tonight, by the way? That son of a bitch. What is he doing? MJ, say, is the Condor Club still in existence in San Francisco? The legendary Condor Club? Is that still a thing? Oh my God, dude. The Condor Club. Oh my God. All right. Elsewhere in the association for this Saturday, March 8th. Well, I didn't watch it, but from the feedback, sounds like that Lakers-Celtics game was a doozy. And the defending world champion Boston Celtics, a team that, as of right now, I still need to see this Warriors team play the Nuggets. But my prediction as of right now, it's going to be Warriors-Celtics part 2. That's 2 in English. And I think the Warriors are going to beat them. Anyways. For all you Jimmy Butler holdouts, meaning the very last of you that just refuse to admit that the trade was one of the best things possible for the Golden State Warriors, you will not be holding out when the Warriors play the Celtics in the NBA Finals because Jimmy Buckets owns that team. True story. Anyways, the Celtics defeated the LA Lakers tonight, 111-101. Jason Tatum, 40 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. Luka Doncic, 24 points, 34 points. I apologize. 8 rebounds in the loss. The Celtics improved to 46-18. The Lakers dropped to 40-22. We'll see how that reflects in the standings in just a moment. The Orlando Magic defeated the Milwaukee Bucks tonight in Milwaukee, 111-109. Orlando improving to 30-35. Milwaukee dropping to 36-26. Cole Anthony, is that right? 22 points, 9 assists, 3 blocks in the win. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37 points, 11 rebounds in the loss. The Chicago Bulls tonight, 114-109 winners over the Miami Heat. Josh Giddey, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists in the win. Tyler Hero, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss. The Bulls, congrats to the Cavaliers for the possibility that you might get Chicago as a first-round opponent. How absurd the Eastern Conference is. Chicago improves to 26-38. Miami drops to 29-34. The Washington Wizards, 118-117 winners tonight over the Toronto Raptors. Jordan Poole, 34 points, 3 steals in the win. I don't know if you folks saw that clip, by the way, of his how can I put this delicately? His oral skills? That's out there. Man's got talents. Toronto drops to 21-43 in the loss. The Wizards improved to 13-49. Again, Jakob Poeltl, 21 points in that one. Rafael Luna saying just some Chardol cracks. Chardol, you know you've made it when people are talking about you at the 1 hour 37-minute mark of our program. Oh, JK is asking, would I invite Athletic Alchemy back? So Alchemy and I, as far as I know, have a fine relationship. I invited him on when I was on the last show. He came on. I really liked him. I thought it was awesome. And after the show, I said, I'd love to do more with you. He didn't say it. So I'm only assuming here, but my guess is he feels threatened by me because he will not do more shows. I've tried. I've asked him. I've expressed very clearly, like, producing content with you. I told him very clearly he's one of the very few individuals whose opinion I at least somewhat respect. And, I had fun having exchanges with him, but he did not want to work with me. And again, I'm just guessing we're all competition, right? I mean, Alchemy, I don't know. If a show is covering the Warriors and they're on YouTube, we are competition. And I don't know if he looks at me as competition. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is, but I've tried to follow up and collaborate with him some more, and he would not. So what can you do? Oh, and if Rafael Luna, if what you write is true, that he's having some personal issues at home, I hope he's okay. Who knows? And maybe it could be something like that. But I tried, and there's only so much effort I could put into working with someone else, and if they don't want to do it, what can I do? Thank you, brother. I really do appreciate that. And this stall gain, I don't know for certain, but he is making a living off this. Yeah. So, if suddenly like I show up and, he's taking a dip in numbers or something, maybe that's how it is. I don't know. I could be wrong. Peter Jennings is asking me to have some humility about Jim Park. The reason why I'm not just open and friendly, or at least not as much as you think, I've been following the dude for years. He posts a lot of crazy shit on social media, like offensive stuff, man. And if you're aware of that and you're fine with it, okay. But there is a lot more to him than just, and a lot more to my opinion of him than just he steals my shit. He says a lot of crazy stuff. I'm not going to go into the details of it tonight. I also would like to do my research to make sure I'm accurate, but I do, and I don't want to specify. I do remember some things he's written. It's just really ignorant shit. And something tells me if he comes on this show, it's not going to be fun. Like, because I'm not going to sit here and hold back. I'm going to call him out on the stupidity, of which there is a lot of. And I'm trying to avoid humiliating someone else. Does that make sense? Yeah, and that, yes, thank you. Aim assist, fair. All right, moving back to the scoreboard. But Alchemy, I hope he's okay, man. And in all honesty, if this gets back to him somehow, I would love to collaborate with the guy. I think he's a really nice dude, and he's a family man, and I know he's down in Arizona. I think he's also a teacher, or at least he was. But yeah, every time I try to follow up, he just give me some excuse, and I kind of got the hint, if that makes sense. I'm like, all right, you don't want it. Okay, all right. Fair. And then Gary Garcia is asking if Damon, Bruce, and Crew come on, why shouldn't those guys? Well, Larry Krueger and I go back 25 years. I mean, we're literally close friends. Damon, Bruce, same. Like, him and I also go way back. We're friends. So that's more than any other reason why I collaborate with those two. It's just we have history. I don't know Alchemy personally at all. I don't know Jim Park personally at all. It's not like they're reaching out to me. You know, like last I checked, they have programs. I don't see them inviting me onto their shows. Are you hounding them, asking them to invite me? I hope that's the case. Peter, I'd like to follow back up real quick and say, just because I question someone's intellectual acumen does not mean I have ego as a result of that. It's an opinion. I don't think I'm better than him as a person. I do think I'm much better at this than he is. I hope the track record shows. I guess my question to you, Peter, is why do you like that dude so much? What is the appeal? Does he have a journalism background so you have respect for him, that everything he's producing has some credibility behind it? You can trust it. Does he have a track record of decades of producing work that in some instances has even won him awards? So you know that he at least knows what the fuck he's doing. Sorry to swear. But don't accuse me of ego, man. That's the furthest thing I'm about. Just because I don't think that he's good at what he does doesn't mean I'm egotistical, all right? All right, living room TV, come on, dude. Let's ease up on the racism. It's getting late. It's Saturday night. Let's wrap this thing up. All right. And again, it's a two-way street for all these other hosts. Like, they could be inviting me too. I will not say no to them. I promise you that. But it goes both ways. You know, and if, you know, hound them. Ask them why they're not inviting me on their shows. See what they say about that. I will host with Alchemy. If Jim Park invites me on his show, I'll go on there. But, you know, it's just, I'd rather get Rick Barry on the show. I'd rather get Gary St. Jean on the show. I'm trying to get Ramona Shelburne on the show. I like, my focus is quality. Like, my focus is not clickbait and just whatever I can do to get, you know, numbers. Like, that's not my goal here, man. I'm trying to go big picture. Thank you very much, Chris. I from New Zealand. Love Kiwis, man. In my travels, the two greatest people on the planet, generally speaking, are Aussies and Kiwis. You two just have figured out life. You're good people. And Oprah, that's fair. Look, I'm a human being. I have emotions. I'm passionate. That's a fair critique of mine, if that's a critique. But I don't think I'm special. That I'm just a human being like everyone else. And the only reason why I'm even in this position is because back in the 90s, I was stupid enough to want to get into the media. Back then, there was actually a path to have a career in this. I bailed on this whole industry in the mid 2010s and just got pulled back into it because one of my close friends launched Believe. And he was like, we need a Warriors show. Do you want to do something? All right. And then Believe's model back then, at least in the, about 10 years ago, was every show had to have like someone with like a journalistic background and a former pro athlete. That was their model. And I don't know if they're still as hard on that now as they were 10 years ago when Believe was first being launched. But the founder of Believe and I go way back. He's a former pro surfer, and we're old friends. We have a mutual friend who's like my best friend on the entire planet. So him and I go way back. He launches Believe, and he needs a Warriors host. He asked me if I know any Warriors players I want to do a show with. I said, yeah, Rick Barry, great. So I reach out to Rick, him and I stayed in touch all these years after his stint at KNBR, where I once upon a time was his executive producer. Side note, for anyone aspiring to get into this crazy industry, you have to put in some work with an organization for networking, for understanding from other perspectives what the right and wrong ways are to do this, so that someday, 15 years after you split ways with someone and you're staying in touch with them because you have that relationship, you can call them back and say, hey, you want to do a show with me, which is what happened with Rick Barry. And then, so I'm doing the show on Believe with Rick, and then Locked On reached out to me and said, hey, we've been watching you with Rick on the Believe show. And they had their opinions about Believe because they're competition. And they asked me if I wanted to do Locked On Warriors. And I was like, all right. And I started with Dieter Kurtenbach, for those of you who remember way back in summer of 2021. And Dieter, and look, that was an interesting few months. Dieter and I had never even met before we were put together. And it didn't work out for him. And it worked out for me. And here we are. And this is the present. So, anyways. Yeah, donk. This is about as accurate of a statement as you can read anywhere, that YouTube killed the radio star. Absolutely right. It did. I mean, I do appreciate YouTube for this. I was going to say it's a great platform because it weeds out those who don't have talent, but immediately right before I actually said that out loud, I realized, no, that's not true at all. But anyways, what are you going to do? Ooh, MJ's asking for Donald Foyle. Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I'm trying to get Matt Barnes on the show. I'm trying to get Steven Jackson on the show. That's what I'm working on right now, and I'm hoping we're like close to getting the green light. Jonathan Kuminga, that's my big project, and that is going to happen. I've lucked out in terms of developing connections with him and his people, and it's just a matter of time. Gregory, it was a dumpster fire with me and Dieter. I will say this though, it was entertaining, and it took me a few weeks to figure Dieter out. I also, that experience confirmed a long-standing suspicion I had, which was anyone who is a columnist on this planet, meaning anyone whose job it is to just write opinions, they're always going to think their opinion is not just right, but that it's fact. Name the columnist. Skip Bayless, who I used to bring on regularly when Rick Barry had his show on KNBR. Skip owes Rick, and to a lesser extent me, largely for his career. He'll acknowledge that too. On this very channel, not the YouTube side of it, but the podcast side of it. If you go way back to the early episodes, the interview that Rick and I did with Skip Bayless is there. This is from back like 2020, 2021. And Skip even admitted it then, like without Rick and I bringing him on regularly in the early 2000s, he would not have been discovered to start going on TV, First Take and all that stuff. Anyways, I evoke his name because Skip Bayless, columnist, Tim Kawakami, columnist, Bruce Jenkins and Killian, columnist, Dieter Kurtenbach, columnist, They all have one thing in common, and they think their opinions are worth gold. And so when I first started with Dieter, that was an adjustment because it was hard to tell initially if this guy was like as smart as he comes off or if he's the columnist given just, my opinion is fact no matter what. And then once I figured that out and figured out who he is, we had some fun back and forths, but the columnist also has his limits in terms of having someone call them out on their bullshit. And so that was that. Yeah, Ray Ratto, MJ is another one. Living room TV. Come on, man. Come on. Let's ease up on this spamming and the. Yeah, Marcus Thompson. Marcus Thompson deserves his credit for developing a relationship with Stephen Curry. Kudos to Marcus Thompson for that. He is, like anything with Steph, he's the guy. And bravo. John Brown coming to us from Forestville. I like Forestville near where I am, like near Guerneville. Adding that Kuminga and Butler are going to get teams in foul trouble. Oh, heartily agree. Let's finish up the scoreboard here. There's a lot of games tonight. Pacers lost to the Atlanta Hawks tonight, 120-118. This game in Atlanta. The Hawks improved to 30-34. The Pacers dropped to 35-27. Benedict Mathurin, 30 points, 8 rebounds in the loss. Trae Young, 36 points, 8 assists in the win. Two more results. The Houston Rockets, unfortunately, winning tonight, which brings up a very good point. Let me actually bring up the point before I read the score, before I forget. Tasha, this might be a good YouTube short here. The picture in the Western Conference is now set in terms of where teams will likely finish, and more importantly, which teams will and will not play each other in the first round, which could lead to the second round and so forth. And I can tell you this with damn certainty when it comes to the Golden State Warriors and where they want to ideally end up in the standings. You don't want to be sixth. And the reason why I say that is because if you finish sixth, you're likely going to be playing either the Nuggets or the Lakers in the first round. Don't want that. If you finish the 5 seed or even the 4 seed, both very much in play, now you're playing either Memphis or the Rockets. Both teams you either have won or are leading the season series against. Both teams young and inexperienced. Both teams, great matchup for the Warriors. Nuggets or Lakers in the first round? Not so much. It gets deeper. Because if you finish as the 4 or 5 seed, as opposed to the 6 seed, you win your first round matchup against Houston or Memphis. And then now in the second round, you have the OKC Thunder, a team that you've already beaten twice. And the one game you lost was by 4 points when you didn't even have Stephen Curry. The Warriors have that team's number. The OKC Thunder's ethos is we're going to be the next Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are still here. And if there's anybody that the Warriors are not intimidated by, it's a team trying to be like them. The Warriors are comfortable with the Thunder. The Warriors can beat the Thunder. And if they play each other in the second round of the playoffs, and you get to not only take care of business against OKC, but you also get to watch the Lakers and the Nuggets beat the piss out of each other. And whoever comes out of that is not going to be feeling great. They're going to be banged up and bruised. You now have your highest probability for making the NBA Finals. And then you make the NBA Finals, and your opponent is the Boston Celtics, a team that now has championship experience, a team that came close to beating you a few years ago, who is better than they were then. But you've got Jimmy Butler, baby. If I could put like sparkles on my teeth when I smile when I say that, I would do so. Jimmy Butler, baby. That's the path. Nathan Shaw, we can see your comments. What are you trying to say? Kev F. We've said this point before. I'm glad you brought it up again because I don't think we can hammer this point enough. The Lakers a week and a half ago did, in fact, show the blueprint for how to beat the Nuggets. In a 7-game series, you get that ball out of Jokic's hands. You will force Jamal Murray. You'll force Aaron Gordon. You'll force Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook, whoever it is. You're going to dare those guys to beat you because Jokic can and will beat you. And that's what the Lakers did. They held Jokic to 12 points. And in a 7-game series, that's how you do it. 100% right, Kev F. 100% right. Dan Coach Emilio. Good to see you, brother. Dan Coach Emilio saying that the Rockets might lose 9 more games this season. They've got 2 games coming up against the Nuggets, 2 against the Lakers. They got 1 more Warriors game. Do they really? I thought they finished playing each other. Is that right? Well, anyways, Miami, Orlando, the Clippers, Phoenix. Yeah, the month of March is going to be beautiful for the Golden State Warriors as they watch all these other Western Conference teams bloody each other to a pulp. Abraham DeLeon mentioning that the Clippers and the Nuggets are the teams who could beat the Warriors. The Clippers have proven that. Good news is, hopefully, you can avoid them altogether in the postseason, and you now have Jimmy Butler, which I think will change things a lot. They're going to play each other one more time in April. Yeah, Kev F, great point. Just like the We Believe Warriors. Side note, back then I was working for KNBR. I know you folks will probably laugh, you'll scoff at this, and that's fine. Peter Jennings will say I'm egotistical for saying this. That's fine. But in 2007, there are witnesses. I was on the air with Gary Radnich saying this, that well before that series started, that the Warriors are going to upset the Mavericks for that exact reason. Matchups are important in the postseason. And the Mavericks were not built to beat the small ball Warriors. Anyway, so the Houston Rockets pounded the Pelicans tonight, 146-117. Dylan Brooks, 27 points in the win. Misi, 14.6 rebounds in the loss for a brutal season for the Pelicans this year. Houston improves to 39-25. The Pelicans dropped to 17-47. Final game on a busy Saturday night. A Saturday night that the Warriors are celebrating. Huge win. 115-110 over the Pistons tonight at home. The Hornets defeated the Nets 105-102. Miles Bridges, 26 points, 12 rebounds. D'Angelo Russell, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists for the Nets. D'Angelo was completely irrelevant in that game against the Warriors. He was not doing a damn thing in that game. And that's your scoreboard. So now when we look at the standings, let me share my screen. Sorry. Here we go. So again, the OKC Thunder, they're going to finish as the top seed. It would pretty much set in stone. They're 52-11. The Denver Nuggets are currently second at 41-22, 11 games back of OKC. The Lakers, with their loss tonight in Boston, dropped to 40-22. That snapped an 8-game winning streak for the Lakers. The Memphis Grizzlies are currently fourth at 39-24, 13 games back. The Houston Rockets are the 5 seed at 39-25, 13 and a half games back. The Golden State Warriors are your 6 seed. They're now 36-28. Is it crazy to you that they are now 8 games above 500? That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. So the Warriors are 3 games back of Houston. They own the tiebreak over the Rockets. They're 3.5 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies, 4 back in the loss column. Currently, they own the tiebreak there. I think they play each other one more time. If Memphis wins, then they'll be tied in terms of the head-to-head. And then it goes, I think, conference record is going to be the next tiebreak, or maybe division record. I can't remember. I apologize for that. And the Warriors 5 games back to the Lakers for the 3 seed. They currently are a half game ahead of the Minnesota Timberwolves, 1 game up in the loss column. The Warriors own the head-to-head there. That is a finale. So those teams will not play each other again. So if the season ends and they're tied in terms of record, the Warriors will be ahead. And then the LA Clippers are currently your 8th seed, a game and a half behind the Golden State Warriors. The Sacramento Kings, a team the Warriors will play next week, are currently 2 games back of Golden State. The Kings are 33 and 29, and the Dallas Mavericks are your 10 seed at 32 and 32. The Phoenix Suns are 29 and 34. Incredible that the Warriors are now looking at the Suns and thinking to themselves, that's history. Those two were like neck and neck for months this season. Golden State is now 6.5 games ahead of the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix will be fighting for that 10 seed, given Dallas's season is pretty much cooked. So we'll see what happens there. But the Suns are 29 and 34. But most importantly, by a long shot, the Warriors 36 and 28, 3 games back of the 5 seed, and that will be the goal. Absolutely. It's the difference between 6 and 5 is night and day. It's going to be important for the title chase this year. Warriors as a 6 seed, that might be too daunting. Warriors as the 5 seed, you might be looking at a 5th championship for Mr. Wardell. Oh, Greg Gordon also adding that Jaren Jackson Jr. is out with an injury. Curious. I love that the chat is having a discussion about Jimmy Butler and whether to call him Jim. Jim Butler. That's a nice ring to it, actually. It would be funny if some media member just called him that. They're like, hey, Jim. Something tells me if some media member was like, Jim, he'd probably get a dirty look from Jimmy Butler. I could be wrong, though. That's just a total guess. But that is funny. Jim Butler. All right, folks, that is it. Still got over 300 people. Thank you, everyone. At the 2-hour mark. Woo. Here, I do this by design before we go. I'm fully aware that in the modern media paradigm, long content is not popular, that everyone has short attention spans, and the fact that our average duration of a show is like an hour and a half, hour 45. I understand that goes against convention. But I do aim specifically to put the most important content and front load it for every show. Meaning, like, the first 30 minutes of every show is where I'm striving to make it just the info you need. I didn't even play any sound tonight. Normally, I would try to squeeze in some sound bites early in the show. Let's hear from Stephen Curry before we go, though. Let's do that. I haven't played any sound in the show tonight. Here is Stephen Curry, who looked a little tired tonight. He did look a little beat up. I doubt he's going to have any comments pertaining to that. But Steph did, in tonight's game, score 32 points, a game high. Cade Cunningham at 31 for the Detroit Pistons. So here's Stephen Curry. Let me turn down the beat real fast. Apologies for that. There we go. Here is Wardell Stephen Curry.
You guys are going right now as you approach the playoffs. Is this kind of opponent, this kind of game, kind of good for the soul to get through something like this against a team like this?
Yeah, every win we've had has had a little different kind of style or character to it, and this is a good team wins this type of game. So you're trying to build off of that, the identity we're creating, and just find a way to put yourself in position to win and win ugly. And when shots aren't falling, game's a little choppy, you just stick with it, and good teams win these type of games.
This was a game that you probably would have lost, do you think, before the trade?
Oh, signs would have pointed to yes.
I love how honest he was there, man. That was awesome. Most dudes would be like, would give you like the diplomatic answer, the political speak, if you will, where, well, I think we could have still won this game, and you never know. No, Steph was like, yeah, probably. No, they absolutely would have lost this game. That was awesome. We got some more sound bites. Here's Steph talking about Jimmy Butler's emerging offense. Sorry, let me get this set up here. Here we go. This is courtesy of 95.7 The Game, the flagship station of the Golden State Warriors. What this means, unfortunately, is you're going to have to turn the volume up on your devices. Here's Stephen Curry.
Steph, to kind of piggyback off that, tonight, Jimmy had 15 points in the third quarter. Most points he scored so far with you guys. Do you feel like tonight you saw him come out of his shell a little bit more offensively? And especially that stretch from the third to the fourth when you're sitting, how does that allow you to sort of center yourself for that final push?
Yeah, from the day he got here, it pushed me back to my kind of normal rotation. And other than maybe like a 6-minute stretch in Houston, where me, him, and Draymond were all on the bench, like either one of us is always on the floor. And I think he felt Detroit's a great defense. They've had like the second best defense, I think, in the last however many games. And you could kind of feel that. And he made the necessary adjustments to look to score, because all of our like off-ball stuff, they were kind of wrestling and we were having a hard time creating advantages. And he does what a superstar does, made the right adjustments and made plays, kept us in it, and kept the momentum going. So that's what you expect a guy to do. He always talks about making the right play. The right play was a score in the second and third quarter.
I want to play the beginning of that one more time, because I think if I heard that correctly, he said the moment Jimmy Butler got here, he was able to play his natural role. And if that's true, that's insane. Let me hear that one more time.
Steph, to kind of piggyback off that, tonight, Jimmy had 15 points in the third quarter. Most points he scored so far with you guys. Do you feel like tonight you saw him come out of his shell a little bit more offensively? And especially that stretch from the third to the fourth when you're sitting, how does that allow you to sort of center yourself for that final push?
Yeah, from the day he got here, it pushed me back to my kind of normal rotation. And
from the moment Jimmy Butler got here, Steph got put back into his normal rotation. Oh man, I wish there was like a follow-up question to that, asking for specifics, like position-wise, minutes-wise, all of the above, whatever it is. Mad on in terms of the Jimmy Butler experience, man. Wow. Nathan J. Shaw in the chat asking if the Warriors submit plays to the league, yes. In terms of officiating, yes. The Golden State Warriors, I can say this as a fact, are contacting the NBA almost daily, letting them know how egregious the treatment of Stephen Curry is. And the NBA's response is almost always, we hear you. Thank you for the consideration. Adam Silver recently mentioned that NBA officials have a union, and that trying to dictate terms to them, trying to communicate with them in terms of their job is not easy. That's absurd. I feel strongly some unions should be busted. This is coming from someone who is an ardent supporter of workers' rights. NBA officials? Why do they need a union? Are you kidding? Bust that union up. That's absurd. But yes, I can tell you with certainty, the Warriors are on a near daily basis contacting the NBA, letting them know how absurd and egregious NBA officials are in their treatment of Steph. Gary Garcias Alcaquez, who's been dropping some dimes tonight. 250 DOP. I have no clue what that currency is, but thank you regardless. Writing that Steph is back home. He's with Aisha. Maybe they did some extracurriculars and he looks tired for it. They did just have a very long road trip. That is a good point. Adding, he said in a game what his favorite thing is at home. Yeah, I think I follow along in terms of what you're insinuating here. He's happily married. And maybe Aisha drained the man just a little too much. Am I reading you right? Oh, Baby Cakes adding that Draymond Green's birthday party wore on Steph a little bit. You're probably right. You're probably right. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Is that it? Are we done? I think we're done. Enjoy your Saturday night. Oh. I think we got one more soundbite. Hold on just 1 second here. We got one more soundbite. Also courtesy of 95.7 The Game. Stephen Curry passed the 25,000 point threshold tonight. An incredible feat. And apparently Draymond Green took the game ball. Let's hear from Steph about that.
Yeah, he's going to keep it for me. I heard he's got a little bit of KD's memorabilia from when he broke the USA. He's just collecting stuff for all of his.
Like a museum.
Yeah,
Like a
exactly.
museum.
I'll come back and get it eventually.
Draymond said it. We've kind of been saying it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, so that was some frivolity there. All right, we're done. Thank you again, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday night. Sleep well. If your team is the Golden State Warriors, you damn well should be feeling giddy. Because this is a damn good team. But the 5 seed has suddenly become very important. So that is going to be a focus. Thank you so much. Oh, Ken Mamba. Oh, sorry to break this to you. He's asking if Buddy Hield is a free agent next season. He's not. He is not only not a free agent next season, he's not a free agent the year after that. He's not a free agent the year after that. He has a player option for the 4th year of his contract, which means he's going to exercise it because by year 4, ain't nobody in this league is going to want to sign him. So no, the Warriors are screwed in that department. All right, coach, is this true? Tonight is daylight savings? Is that for real? Bravo! I mean, we lose an hour, but those early nights are done. Well, that's good if that's true. I always just let my phone let me know when that stuff happens. All right, everybody, we're done. Have a great night. That was one hell of a win by the Warriors. Fun times. The audience is amazing. Thanks to everybody. And we'll be back at this soon. Bye-bye. Bye.